All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Corey. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. As the disclaimer goes, I am not a financial advisor. Please do not do your own research and do not invest in anything you are not willing to lose or hold for a very long time. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's news. First things first, let's check out the price. It looks like we're still staying in with that daily range of 18 cents. We've heard a couple different narratives happen, saying that we could be shooting up to about 24 cents out of this range, or all the way down to 15 cents to give us that one final push down before we take off to the upside. So I'd like to reflect that story through the news that I have today to show you guys that it is still moving forward. The financial economy is still not doing great, and Ripple's XRP is still standing by to solve the global liquidity problem. All right, it looks like Dow futures again are going to be down another 400 something odd points. It is changing as we speak. It is very volatile. Looks like yesterday we were down about 500 something odd points, and today we'll be down another 400. All indicative of poor market conditions, and it looks like oil is also taking a major hit. We are going to get into what happened to oil yesterday. First things first, inside R3 at inside_R3. When the will is there, obviously beneficial solutions do get adopted, and when the need is there, the public and private sectors separately and collectively can roll out new infrastructure at breakneck speeds. Another amazing piece on Forbes. So basically, this is just R3 talking about a Forbes article that was written and stating that if there are utilities and tools there in order to help speed up the process of money transfer, then they need to, private and public sectors, when there is an emergency, have the capability of working together quickly and efficiently in order to get the job done. And that's coming out of R3. Now, R3 we know is going to be using the Corda settler system, which runs XRP as its settlement engine. XRP Crypto Wolf at XRP Crypto Wolf. Bank of England discussion paper. Central bank digital currency opportunities, challenges, and designs. So this is a paper from the Bank of England discussing CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and what they can be used for, like how they can be transferred. Consequently, CBDC may offer a safer way to provide better cross-border payments. For example, central banks may be able to work together to link domestic CBDCs in a way that enables fast and efficient cross-border payments. Individual domestic CBDCs could be designed around a common set of standards intended to support interoperability. So, could be designed around a common set of standards to support interoperability. So, they're hinting at not making CBDCs directly transferable, but making CBDCs work with a transferable system. Individual domestic CBDCs could be designed around a common set of standards intended to support interoperability. This might enable atomic transactions between CBDC systems, where the transfer of a CBDC in one currency is linked with the transfer of a CBDC in another currency in a way that ensures each transfer occurs if and only if the other does. The bank is also actively working with other central banks and finance ministries to consider public and private actions to improve the existing cross-border payment system. For example, the bank is involved in the CPMI's cross-border payment task force and will feed into G20 work on enhancing cross-border payments. So I think that's screaming XRP. The first major milestone will be to move the ISO 222 messaging system in 2022. There are new settlement systems emerging, such as Finality, which we know is working directly with Ripple, proposing to issue digital settlement tokens that would be fully backed by central bank money, allowing instant settlement. The bank aims to publish proposals on how and under what conditions new settlement providers could open accounts at the bank to facilitate similar innovative wholesale settlement models. So basically, Finality runs using XRP and is also a system that countries could issue their own central bank digital currencies upon. All right, so let's move on to this. It's sunriseread.com. This article was posted the 21st of April, today. Ripple Spring launches crypto fiat payments that integrate into any app. So Spring is a branch of Ripple. They are funded by Ripple, and they basically develop software and programs that work alongside XRP. So their sole focus, their sole goal is to create more ease of use and user demand for the actual crypto itself. So Ripple Spring is launching a platform, it says, makes it doable for builders to combine fiat and cryptocurrency funds into any utility. So basically, they're allowing users to create shopping systems that will enable people to purchase with the dollar, with the yen, with the euro, as well as XRP and other cryptocurrencies. So a win for Spring development. Okay, Sologenic set to release liquidity for XRP and Solo on the XRPL DEX. So Sologenic is a platform that allows you to trade stocks for crypto. So you'd be able to purchase like a portion of Apple shares for the Sologenic token, and that would be transferred via the XRP ledger. And what it would allow you to do is use your stocks and investments to purchase like groceries right off the bat. So say you were kind of running low on money, you could go to the grocery store and pay for your groceries via selling some of that Apple share into Sologenic stock and or tokens, and then use that to purchase your groceries. So there is going to be a lot of real world use and interoperability when it comes to the systems, Sologenic and XRP working together, or in Ripple working together to use XRP to bridge that connection where money is unable to be used in the stock market. So now the ability to take that money and use it directly from the shares and of companies that you own. So that's pretty interesting, and I think that that's going to bring some mainstream adoption to the space. So this is Sum. So Sum is a wallet that was built by Weedsay Wind. Sum is a XRP wallet that allows you to send, receive, and pay for goods and services via XRP on the XRP ledger. And they're saying the Sum community, you want to integrate Sum into your website like a donation button, head over to Sum. So now you can head over and see this cool donation button that you can get for your website. So if you have like a cool article and you'd like people to donate to your website via a XRP or other type of cryptocurrency, you can have this put in and people can simply just scan the QR code and send it right over to you. So that is really, really cool, and definitely something that I'm going to be integrating into some of my things later. We did look at the price, and before that usually takes a shot to the upside, we usually see FUD. FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, if you're kind of new into the space and don't know what the terms are. But basically this is another FUD article. XRP army slowly shrinking according to the report. And it's basically saying that the XRP community has started to shrink by the numbers and not as many people are involved with it, and you can expect that to happen. When prices start to drop, then people start to get out, and that happens in pretty much any scenario. You wouldn't expect all of the people who are so into Netflix and Apple to stick around if their stocks were just dropping like rocks. You wouldn't want to stay in that stock or that kind of community. So the same thing is pretty much happening with here, and it's just a something to take a look into based on the market conditions. But all in all, the fundamentals are still standing and they are still good, and hodl because all we're seeing right now is just a simple there's no price discovery. We don't know. Price is basically fake. We're looking at charts that, thank goodness that we can buy these crypto assets at such a cheap price, because they are being controlled and they are being kept down, and eventually they are going to go to the upside, and then they're never going to come back down to these same levels again. So this is going to be the last chance to really get these at these levels. So all right, let's move on to the next article we got here. This is a Ripple Insights that came out April 20th, 2020. I'm not going to really read the whole thing. I will put it in the description of the video. And we are watching U.S. history unfold. Basically, what they are talking about is the current situation in comparison to the 2008 financial crisis, and what's happening and what we can expect to happen in the future, as well as what is happening with liquidity and how on-demand liquidity could be a solution to the continued problems that are happening. So Ripple definitely taking a step into the light to tell everybody, hey, we have a solution to help out markets, and we've got an answer for you guys. So take a look at us and take a look at what we can do. This is a clip from Judy Shelton from Real XRP Boy at boy_XRP. So Judy Shelton is the Fed nominee for Trump for the next federal. He wants her in the Fed chair. So let's take a look at what she has to say. There is the common idea that Judy Shelton is a advocate for going back on the gold standard. I think a lot of us are, and she wants to do it in a cryptocurrency sort of way, and there's a lot of great quotes from her. So let's just hear this video right here.
In closing, let me note Jack Kemp's observation at that 1983 conference when he pointed out that any new system of formally maintained exchange rates among the world's currencies would need to choose a common reference point, an anchor. It could be a national currency like the US dollar. It could be a commodity like gold, or it could be a supranational invention like the IMF special drawing right, the SDR. Bob Mundell gave his own view. He said, choosing a dollar standard would be like imposing English as a world language. Choosing the SDR, he said, would be like trying to impose Esperanto on the world trading community. Mundell said that a gold standard would be closer to the mark, in his words, given the significant gold holdings of central banks. Quoting Mundell, if all countries agreed to convert their currencies into gold at an agreed price, gold could serve in lieu of the SDR, and the international gold standard would provide the world economy with a common currency, unquote. Let me just say that I believe U.S. leadership can and should play a strong role in helping to build a new stable international monetary system to serve an open global marketplace dedicated to free trade and genuine competition. And if the next Bretton Woods conference takes place at Mar-a-Lago, great. Let's hope it's not too far in the future.
So Judy Shelton talking about going back on a gold standard and adjusting everybody's debt on a gold-based system and creating a level playing field from there. There are quotes of her saying that she'd like to go back on a gold standard in a cryptocurrency sort of way. And we have recently seen her respond to a tweet. She did like a tweet. I don't have it up here, but it was a picture of XRP, the standard, a good GIF showing literally the text XRP, the standard, and she did in fact like that tweet. So little things like that show that, they are tracking, they are on board, they do know what we are talking about, and those are little hints, saying, yeah, you guys are right, this is what it is, this is what we're doing, this is what we're getting on board with. All right, so we've got XRP Joker at Joker_XRP from this week's Economist. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey, the bank will create new money and transfer it to the government, which will later, it says, borrow in financial markets to pay the balance. So this is an article from The Economist magazine that was handed out, and the article taken directly as a picture and then posted on Twitter. Basically, the article says monetary financing is a modern term for one of the oldest taboos for central banks, printing money to fund government spending. On April 5th, Andrew Bailey, governor of the Bank of England, insisted that the Financial Times that the bank would not directly fund the government since such action would damage its credibility. 4 days later, the bank announced that some monetary financing would in fact take place via an expansion of the so-called Ways and Means facility. Mr. Bailey had described the facility, which is as old as the bank itself, as a historical feature. It is a bit like an overdraft. The bank will create new money and transfer it to the government, which will later, it says, borrow in financial markets to pay the balance down during the global financial crisis. So basically, another system to create money out of thin air and then pay it back in a debt-based way. Peter Brandt at Peter Brandt, how much blood will be lost in the streets? So we are going to crude oil. If nobody saw what happened to crude oil yesterday, please be informed that it shot down to like negative $42, and apparently crude oil can still fall further. What I found interesting was the idea that we are in a petrodollar system, so the United States dollar essentially being backed by oil, and so if oil is worth nothing, literally nothing, then what's the US dollar worth is all I'm asking myself. So maybe somebody could answer that for me in the comments. So we keep talking about China and their own CBDC. China rolls out pilot tests for digital currency. So as of yesterday, China has now released their pilot test for their digital currency, and they are supposed to be releasing the entire thing to 4 of their central banks on April 25th. So what happens in response to China releasing their own digital yuan? Well, the US decides that it's going to also reintroduce the digital dollar, concept of a digital dollar that can be used to provide US taxpayers with stimulus payments to weather the economic recession. So using the economic recession to insert the idea of a digital dollar and make it an easier way for Americans to receive a consistent income of stimulus. So we have the proposal for that stimulus right here. The proposal for the stimulus would be that every American age 16 and older making less than $130,000 a year would actually receive $2,000 a month via this direct deposit. And it goes in, so this is the bill, all right, so it's kind of, we're going back and forth, but this is the bill that's introduced to Congress that talks about the digital dollar. And it says digital dollars. The term digital dollar means digital dollar balances consisting of digital ledger entries recorded as liabilities in the accounts of any Federal Reserve Bank, and digital coins are currency instruments issued by the United States Treasury as legal tender and held as bearer instruments in any digital dollar cash wallet approved by the United States Treasury. Digital dollar account wallets. The term digital dollar account wallet means a digital dollar account maintained by a Federal Reserve Bank on behalf of any person for the purpose of holding digital dollar balances. Digital dollar cash wallets. The term digital dollar cash wallet means any software program whose standards, specifications, and functions are authorized and regulated by the United States Treasury, which stores, sends, and receives digital coins or currencies, instruments issued by, I'm assuming, the United States. So, and it says that this is going to be terminated as soon as within 2% employment rate. So this will continue until the United States returns to the 2% employment rate as of December of 2019. So there will be a $2,000 basic income for those above the age of 16 who make under $130,000 a year until we return to a 2% inflation, 2% unemployment. And now our current unemployment rate is somewhere around 22%, and there's like 5 to 6 million people or more a week becoming unemployed. So I would consider this proposal to be permanent, to be honest. So this is the full proposal. Married couples earning less than $260,000 a year would make $4,000 a month and $500 on top of that per child. So if you're a family of 4, you're going to end up with $5,000 a month. Those who had no earnings, were unemployed, or are currently unemployed will also be eligible for stimulus even if they didn't file a tax return. So basically, like, they're treating money as, water or oil at this point. It's free money. It doesn't matter whether or not you have a tax return, or you worked, or you're unemployed, or whatever. As long as you live inside the United States and are over the age of 16, you're pretty much going to be getting a $2,000 stimulus check, and that is going to be distributed via this digital wallet that's being created by the Fed, and then every person will be able to receive 2,000 digital US dollars per month, and that is in line with this new Chinese yuan. So Okay, April 20th, 2020, Bank of England directs British banks to drain liquidity reserves to help support the economy in a new view of hits taken from the pandemic. So Bank of England tells banks to use excess capital to help customers. The bank currently have liquidity buffers, cash and short-term bonds they must hold to fund themselves for at least a month without outside help at well over 100% of the minimum level required. Banks are expected to use their liquidity buffers in doing so, even if it means liquidity coverage ratios go significantly below 100%, the PRA said in guidance to lenders. So it's basically like, whatever we can do, let's get the money out to the people. Doesn't matter what kind of liquidity reserves you have, doesn't matter what kind of reserves you have at all, just get the money out to the people who need it right now, and we'll worry about it later. So the way that they're giving away this money, the way that they're throwing money at the people, is interesting because they're doing it. It sounds like they're doing it in a way that they don't care about it anymore. They're like, you can have this, you can have that. Nah, we'll just give everybody money. It doesn't matter who has money. We're just giving it all away because it's not worth anything anymore. That's the kind of idea that I'm getting from all of this. So let's take a little of a turn. We're going to check out Green Eggs and Ham at Ham Eggs and Sam. We just can't have people standing up to the establishment and telling us to blank off, can we? Well, we might understand a power comes from obedience and fear. So this is just another example of Facebook taking down posts and censoring people's right to speak and voice their opinion and organize. And so Facebook bans civil disobedience, removes post organizing anti-lockdown protests. So Facebook clearly getting into people's freedom of speech. This is happening again across many social platforms. YouTube channels are getting taken down. Twitter accounts are being suspended, and Facebook groups are being removed. So keep an eye out for what is happening. Watch what you say. If you're on social media, the last thing that you want is to get your account taken down if you work really hard on it. And also, you don't want your account to be targeted, tagged, looked at constantly. I'm sure my account is already, and I'm just protecting the idea that it is going to be taken down at some point. So I hope that doesn't happen, but if you're worried about who's watching the stuff that you put down, just be aware that not only are they closing accounts, but this also means that they are fully watching everybody's stuff as well. They are tracking what you're putting in. So a couple things. 2/3 of voters vote by mail in November of 2020. So there is a huge thing going on where you can vote by mail. They don't want people to come out to the polls and show your ID to prove that you are a citizen of the United States that's voting. They want you to cast your vote with no ID verification and send it in. And if that doesn't sound insane to you, I don't know what does, because it leaves it completely open for anybody to tamper with their vote. Anywhere where that mail ends up, voting can be changed. Whoever used pencil, and what if they just erase the pencil mark and scratch in whoever they want to? So I don't see how this is going to work. I don't see how mail-in voting registration could work at all. I think that regardless of our current pandemic situation, people should get their IDs together, and they should go and they should vote out in public, and they should go vote at the registration booths, regardless of what's going on. But we will see. Now, for all of you who watch this channel that have been listening to me talk about this 5G thing and 5G and the current pandemic and what areas are being affected, and this David Icke video coming out about how we're being inundated with microorganisms that make us sick based off of 5G cell phone towers. Well, if you go to nperf.com, you can definitely see this map, and this map will show you all of the cell phone towers and coverage in the United States by street per whatever G signal. So right now, if it's United States, I've got it on T-Mobile. If I go to AT&T, you can see there's less purple in here. There's a lot more red, so it'll show you this is purple 5G, 4G is red, 4G plus is red, 4G is orange, 3G green, obviously going down. Now looking at these lists of cell phone carriers, it looks like T-Mobile is the one that has the most 5G networks up and running right now. So if you look, you can see we've got the Boston area right here. We've got New Haven area in Connecticut, New York for sure, Philadelphia. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because for me, one of the things that I was doing a lot of research on is trying to figure out which counties specifically had the highest cases of COVID, and then compare those counties specifically to cell phone towers that emit 5G in that respected area. So if you take this, now you can go to COVID's or the John Hopkins map, the COVID map, and now the United States is broken up by county. So you can zoom in and find out which counties are most affected by the current pandemic, and you can see, if you want to, put this against the backdrop of this map and then compare counties that have the highest level of the disease in comparison to which of those counties are also running 5G. So for example, we've got, let's see, New Orleans right here, okay, by Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Gulfport, New Orleans. So if we go to this map, this is the John Hopkins County map, and then we go down to New Orleans right here. You can see, where do we go? New Orleans, there's Gulfport. We do have a significant amount of 5G running in this specific area. Over here we've got it running as well, but not a lot. Now that kind of lines up. Let's see, what do we got? See, Dallas, Houston, and Austin all lined up to have 5G. Then you go back and we've got Dallas, Houston, and Austin not hit as badly. So the reason I'm showing this is because everybody is convinced that 5G towers are affecting people and causing this COVID. So COVID is literally the reaction of 5G towers being turned on, and in some way maybe the radiation is affecting people. I mean, look at New York. This is New York, right? COVID, New York, and then you go over here to New York, 5G, like it's just completely slammed with 5G. So in some areas it looks like 5G and COVID kind of coexist, where there is a higher number, there is a higher signal, but in other areas, like we just showed, there aren't at all. Like we still have normal nominal levels, and so it does lend some light to the idea that maybe this coverage is kind of not exactly what you think it is. Maybe we're not being affected by the signal as much, but it is for your own interpretation, and I thought that I would pull up the tools for you guys to do your own research and take a look at different counties, different counties that are being affected by the area. For instance, like Detroit, we've got Detroit right up here is being affected heavily by it, and then we've got Detroit over here, wrong lake, and there's not much 5G in that area at all. Maybe a little bit right up here by Waterford, but not at all in there. So again, just wanted to let you guys know that this is what the maps are, this is what they look like, and if you want to do some comparisons, please do some comparisons, and you may see that it's not necessarily 5G that is affecting everybody in the United States, and so there might lend some light to the David Icke interview. So anyway, that's all I got today, and thank you so much for tuning in. I know it was a long one, and I'm sorry for not doing a video on Monday. Hopefully we'll get one in tomorrow as the news comes out. So enjoy the rest of your day, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you in the next video.